Hello and welcome back. It's Andy, and today, as from the picture you've just seen on the intro to the video, I've been and bought some seeds. Not all those seeds are, for consumables, shall I say, but in any case, we've picked a variety of seeds for vegetables that will be stuff that we will eat if we can get it to germinate and go further. Now, there that lies the question, really. But we've also bought some wildflower mix and some poppies. My wife does like poppies. I have an affinity to them. And on top of that, I have already discussed I wanted to start trying to introduce some wildflowers to the garden and some spaces that do need repopulating with plants that are a bit bare at the moment. So we're hoping that will fill the role. We did actually buy some more compost. We have another bag around the back. But so that's going to keep us busy. That's enough to keep us going with the flowers. But coming back to the seeds, we've got two different types of peas. From what I can understand, this is a type of pea which can be eaten whole. But I'm guessing from this one, it kind of needs to be shelled first. I'm not an expert, like I say, on gardening. This is all a learning curve for me. But peas are a staple for us, so obviously we're keen to try and get some peas to come up. Cabbage, we do use and eat cabbage. And, what is a roast dinner without a bit of cabbage as well? So it's going to be super beneficial if we can actually get these to come up. Lettuce, well, there is nothing that doesn't go with, or you can put a bit of lettuce with, just to give yourself a bit of greenery and know you're eating a bit of something healthy. So, this is something that I think everybody does grow. And I can remember at school learning to grow lettuces in paper cups just to get them going. So, if I haven't totally forgot everything from school, at least I should be able to grow a few lettuces, or I'm hoping I still can remember how I did that. Cauliflowers, we do eat cauliflowers, and we're quite keen and interested to get some cauliflowers. I don't know how easy and how successful they are, but we've got some, and because obviously that is it's a green we will eat. Broad beans, well, my grandfather used to grow loads of them, and as a child I can remember shelling them and eating them and really enjoying them. They kind of fall out of favour and fashion amongst the consumers because they're not, shall we say, primarily the most easy and readily available in shops to find, but I still enjoy them, and I'm looking forward to getting a crop of those. Onions, well, all cooking usually involves onions, so hopefully I can get a crop of good onions. And then obviously carrots, and same as onions, you use them pretty much in most dishes. The pumpkins, as it says there, ideal for kids. This is going to be fun, and just to see if we can get something for the kids to grow and indeed keep them interested in it. Now this comes down to the, shall we say, non-eatables, which are the poppy seeds and the wildflower mixes. I've got some areas of the garden I want to populate with some flowers. It's not entirely what I expected and wanted. It doesn't state what wildflowers are in there, so I feel kind of a little bit let down. But I've been out, I've purchased them, I'm going to sow them and see what I get from them. But I will ultimately have to try and source something possibly a bit more specialised. And poppy seeds, my wife likes poppies, and I have a kind of affinity to them, so you know they're going to be a welcome addition to see those come up. So as you can see, I've got, you know, the basics to getting my vegetable garden on the go. Something quite interesting though happened while we were out shopping for seeds. I didn't find it too easy at the moment to get seed potatoes. They seem to be sold out. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I don't know if there's a worldwide shortage. I don't know if this is the best time to plant, or such a best time to plant them. Everybody's been buying them and they're bought out. I don't have any reason, and I was not given any reason when I did ask. But the fact still remained, I couldn't get any seed potatoes. I don't for 1 minute suspect that's the case, you know, everywhere. It was probably just the couple places I went to. But in any case, I came away kind of like, that was probably one of the main things I wanted. I do have some seed potatoes I've kept back from, shall we say, shop-bought ones. And I have actually, over the years, been able to successfully, in bags, grow potatoes from them. So I'm possibly going to use that method again. I'm not going to deplete my energies and resources running all over the shop to find potatoes when I know I can get potatoes to grow from that method. The only thing is, I've never grown a sweet potato from a shop bought one, so I don't know if it's any different in how I would be going about it with the regular ordinary eating potato. I'll obviously do my research on that, and if it's got a reasonable chance of success, I shall probably use that method as well if I can't source any sweet potatoes, like, you know, the seed ones to actually bring on. So I do have a contingency plan, but I was just quite surprised, to be honest with you, that seed potatoes you know, weren't as readily available in the shops I went to as I thought they would be. So walking down to this part of my hedgerow, you can see it's quite bare. Now, I did have hardcore against it. I've used and removed it, and I'm going to trim just a little bit of this holly bush and blackthorn up, but this gets a lot of sun during the morning and afternoon. We're in the late part of the afternoon now, so hence it's not quite so sunny. But this is where I'm thinking I might put one of those packets of wildflowers, because it's almost in its natural setting if I think about it, because this is a very old hedgerow. And yeah, if I just clean all this stuff off and up, get it wet, rake the seeds in, I'm going to be thinking this will cover this little bit of an eyesore up and put something back to nature in itself. But like I said, I'm just disappointed with that packet of seeds that I can't actually find what wholly is in it. So as you can see, I've got to trim a fair portion of this back. Not too much, because I don't want to also damage these plants. But I do want enough light to get to it, and I don't want it to get overshadowed. So I'm just going to take parts of it off. Not too much, like I said. Just bringing these pieces here under control. And it's just to give that little bit more angle for the sun to get in here. And I've got some gloves to pick up all these blackthorns and holly leaves. The reason being for that is I'm allergic to blackthorn prickles, and on many occasions I've ended up having to need antibiotics, quite simply because I've got blackthorn embedded in my skin, and the very faintest remnants of blackthorn, should we say thorns, does cause such an irritation to myself that on one occasion I was actually hospitalised with a completely swollen hand. Not everybody suffers the same reaction as that, but in any case, you know, they are quite nasty. So if you're dealing with blackthorn, always wear substantial gloves, eyewear, and well, basically just take care of yourself. So as you can see, I've opened it up a bit. I've took that holly tree and blackthorn back. It gets plenty of sun here during the morning and all the way through to pretty much late afternoon. So I'm not concerned about the amount of sunlight with what I've done here. I'm now going to wet it down with the watering can, just sprinkle some water on, and then I will put the seeds on, rake them in, and see what it looks like after that. So all I'm doing with the watering can is just gently wetting the area, getting it covered in water to give the seeds the best chance of actually, you know, germinating. This area is pretty saturated, and I do know rain is on the way in the next 2 days, so that will all help it along. Right, so I've got the packet of seeds. I shook them to get as much of the seed down to the very bottom, because obviously it doesn't feel like there is a lot in here in the first place, so I don't want to lose any by opening it and, you know, flying seeds needlessly out of the pack. But I'm curious, but it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot in here. What do I get on first inspections if I can get in? Like I said, I'm just paranoid about losing what there is in this packet. Right. That's quite interesting, really. I'll just get the camera and show you. There isn't actually a material amount in there that looks a lot, but what you do have in there is very fine seeds, lots of very fine seeds. So that's an interesting thing I've just learnt there. I'm not traditionally used to looking for seeds this small, and yeah, obviously there is more in here than I actually thought by the sheer value that they're extremely small. Yeah, so when you look in the packet, like I've just explained, it doesn't look a lot, but if I bring it over like that, you can see that a lot of these seeds are extremely small in there. They're almost pinpricks, to be absolutely honest with you. Like I said, it's just a shame I don't actually know what flowers I do actually have in here in this packet. I've had a quick look online and I can't really, a quick look online and I can't find no information that way. Perhaps I need to spend more time in getting more in depth trying to find out. And that is what you actually have, and it's in the palm of my hand, and I don't have extremely large hands, but as you can see by the different colours and different grains, it's, as I've just said, it's extremely small stuff. Right, I'm just grabbing a pinch at a time and I'm very gently sowing them on the surface. I will actually gently rake this in, but I'm very conscious that I don't have a lot of material here to play with, and I think I will have to use yellow packet just on this particular area here. I think I'm going to have to find some other and better method of obtaining these wildflower seeds. This isn't very cost effective, and on top of that you don't get the quantity to feel fully satisfied with what you're typically trying to sow an area with. I would suggest, if you had plant pots and you were putting these seeds in to get wildflowers to come up, I think you'd be reasonably confident, but to actually sow over a fair area, I don't think this is possibly the way to go. I think you would, like I'm going to do, try and find a method to gain a quantity of wild meadow flowers. But there, I think what I'm going to have to do is open up that second packet, which I was thinking about sprinkling around the base of the apple trees. But I think this hedge is possibly going to need that, just to help give a fair chance for us to get some flowers to come up that we were going to see, because you always have to take into account the percentage that aren't going to germinate and come to, you know, full growth. So while down this part of the garden, I'm just checking in on a patch of ground that we let go to be, in all intents and purposes, wild. And I'm a little bit shocked to say, from the last time I came down, possibly a week and a half ago, it's really, you know, got overgrown. And I'm looking at it, and some of the plants may need a little bit of thinning out, just to allow some of the other ones a chance of survival. So in our garden, if you come down here behind the chicken coop, you can see we got a path, and this hedge is full of all types of wildflowers. And basically this is what we try to allow totally go back to nature. But I've noticed our rhubarb is starting to get swamped there. Now this year, amazingly, the vibrancy of the colours of these wild flowers and plants is really coming to the fore. I think it's going to be a good year for wild plants, to be honest with you. It's not too wet at the moment, and they've enjoyed some early sunshine. But my issue is with my raspberries. Now I've got to try and stop them getting overwhelmed, because I want a crop from these. I planted them last year as only a very small little twig basically, but already this raspberry bush is really doing quite well. I'm quite pleased with it, and I can see the beginnings of what eventually will end up as flowers and fruit. So it's already looking like it's trying to produce or go into flower. On the other hand, a contrast, the blackberry that I planted isn't doing so well, which is surprising me, because this area here is possibly prime blackberry area. It's not overly shaded, but it doesn't get too hard. The sun isn't too hard on it, and blackberry bushes are basically hedgerow plants, so they're not really ideally suited to be out in full sunlight. But yeah, this one doesn't seem to be doing so well, so that's going to need a helping hand. Yeah, so basically I'm going to try and trim out some of these flowers, just to allow the rhubarb a bit of space to breathe and come back, shall I say. It just seems like it's been absolutely swamped here. So I'm just going to take some of this off there. I don't really want to do this, because the idea of it down here was to actually remain pretty much like a bit wild, shall I say. But we do have some rhubarb here, so while this rhubarb bit here is, shall we say, still in leaf, I'm going to have to keep this a little bit down a bit. We do still have a carpet behind it, and I need to get in and see if I can give that blackberry bush a little bit more help. So I'm going to continue doing this a moment, and you know, just select what I'm taking. I'm not cutting down everything per se. So as you can see, I've opened it up a little bit. It looks a bit brutal, and I've left the chopped bits there because quite simply that will rot down really quick and produce organic matter, and the plants will absorb that back into the natural cycle of things. Yeah, as clearing out this blackberry, you can see it's bigger around the base than I thought, so it's doing better than I actually thought it was. So I've got more light now going to that, and it's going back over, and I'm going to weave it through the fence all the way back through. But this particular area here, I'm going to encourage the shoots and the branches that come off to take over this particular area for the fruit. The actual raspberry bush is doing better than I thought also. It's coming up everywhere through the ground here. I've just tightened it back to the actual fence with a cable tie. I've left plenty of slack and room for it to move and not cut in, and I'm going to encourage that also just to go up. I've just trimmed a few more off this buddleia here to allow more light. So in effect, I think I've created enough sunlight and enough open area for the raspberry, blackberry and the rhubarb to thrive, yet leaving enough room behind it all for the wild plants to do their thing, because after all I'm trying to allow or give them space to do something and try to make it all work together in harmony. This apple tree, for such a small apple tree, always gives us, well, more fruit than we can actually think possible that would come off a small tree like this. And as you can see, it's literally covered in blossom, and yeah, like I say, we could easily expect a bucket load from this actual tree. And you're always worried that because it's such spindly limbs that it's actually going to hurt the tree. Hence I have reinforced it onto poles just to help give it a bit of support. Like I said, you're just frightened you're going to hurt the tree with it producing so much fruit. But hopefully that will eventually get strong enough to support itself. But till then, I do give it a helping hand. This apple tree, on the other hand, has a good solid trunk. It's about 3 inches at the base, and it rises quite strongly, and then it branches off at the top. This one has always struggled to produce blossom and apples. This year though, this is the first year we've actually had a substantial amount of blossom. So we're hoping and praying to see what, and at least how much in the way of the quantity of apples that we're going to get from it. Yeah, so you know, all eyes are on this apple tree for us this year. Our strawberries are actually coming to life extremely early, to be honest with you, from what most previous years that we've had. We've even started to get some runners, and I don't usually see these till well into the summer, so something's happening with either the growing conditions or the weather conditions to allow it to thrive, to start throwing runners out now. Like I said, I don't traditionally see them till into the summer, but yeah, I've got to clear these out of like weeds and bits and bobs that are coming through, and then you know, get them ready for the summer harvest. So you've seen the seeds I've selected, and I will get those in the ground shortly, and I will actually source some potatoes, even if it means I have to do the scouring underneath the kitchen sink for ones that have escaped and are now sprouting. And I'm sure that's been done by many people before me. Like I said, that's a proven method. I have produced potato crops from that method before. I'm not sure about sweet potatoes. I'm going to have to do my research on that. My mind tells me there shouldn't be much difference, but hey, I'm a novice gardener. So you've seen the seeds, like I said. You know what I'm going to be putting in the ground, and all that really is to say about that is I'm going to have to go through this journey as a novice and wait and see what I get to harvest in early autumn, late autumn. Indeed, some of what I've read on the packets, it should be in the ground now. but I'm going to take a chance. What have I got to lose? And I hope you see how I'm trying to work with nature with what I've already got here. And yeah, I'm going to sign out here and bid you farewell. Yeah, this is Andy, and I'll catch you again.